Tiger Stacker here. We are still into the early videos so that I can explain to you why I went from a stacker who intended never to be a YouTuber to someone who has. So, who am I? What do I love? Let's talk about my past, and I hope I will make this quick so I don't bore any of you. Let's talk about my Gramps, who was a wise man, and from my math, I think he was born in 1891. He lived through so much: Spanish-American War, World War I, II, Korean War, Vietnam, Woodrow Wilson, the creation of the Federal Reserve, from silver and gold as money, to silver certificates, gold certificates, and eventually federal notes. From Woodrow Wilson through FDR, through Nixon, through the Great Depression and the Great Recession. He lived through so much. And as I was a young boy in the 60s, he taught me many things. And I will remember them over time and share them with you. But the biggest thing he always taught me was, figures don't lie, but liars can figure, which made me cautious of people early on, but it never really started to take effect until now that I can see what our government has been doing to us since 1913. Boy, I wish I had paid more attention to him then. Next, my dad, a great man, a workaholic, a good provider, a good father, a good role model. He was in a union of pipe fitter and welders and only wanted what was best for his friends and his family. And just like our current political situation was attacked for wanting the best for everyone. My mom, who was a good housewife, a great cook, very ferocious protector of the family. My siblings, as flawed as they are, I love them. About me, I'm no one special, but I do have a history. I'm a Christian who loves God, Jesus, the Holy Spirit. And this always has to come first. Next, I was a son and a grandson, flawed as most of us are, but I loved my family intensely, and I always tried to improve. A brother, also flawed, but always tried to improve. A student who loved to learn, and just like Leonardo da Vinci said, learning never exhausts the mind. A scientist, mainly in chemistry and biology, but also in physics, ever since childhood. I used to get all sorts of toys that were science-related, microscopes, chemistry sets, and that set up my desire to go further with my education. A musician. I played the saxophone, much better than I played the guitar, and I love to sing, mainly with my dad, and now till this day. I would consider myself a very good amateur. Sports, never was really good at sports, but I never stopped trying. I was a wrestler and I threw javelin. Never made much of it, but I enjoyed it. A doctor, I love this. I love my patients. I love seeing people get better, and I love doing God's work. I frequently think of Saint Panteleimon, who was a physician Christian in the 300s. A pilot. This is the closest I've ever come to true freedom. I ask you to look up the quote from Leonardo da Vinci, which basically says that once you have tasted flight, you will forever look skyward. For there you have been, and there you long to be. Or maybe the poem High Flight by John Gillespie McGee Jr., who was a World War II pilot. A motorcyclist. This is about as close as I can get to the freedom of flying as I can get. A father. A father who loves his son. My one and only child. And who has given me a grandson that I hope to be part of his life in time. So, who are my heroes? First of which is Jesus. Like the other heroes, they sacrifice of themselves for the benefit of us all. None more than Jesus Christ. Being Serbian and Orthodox, I also value the priests that are within my church. You may have ministers or rabbis, all of which need to be respected, for they truly are the doctors of the soul. But I also want to make mention of the military, of which I was part of in the Garden Reserve and loved being there. Lastly, but not leastly, the scientists that have made all of our lives better and have brought to us so many wonderful things. And on top of them is Nikola Tesla, Serbian scientist who was not appreciated while he was alive, and yet years after his death is helping so many people. His research was mothballed by our government, and thank God Elon Musk has brought his work to reality. So I think 9 minutes or so for a second video should be sufficient enough to allow you to learn a little bit more about who I am and why I decided to come out of the shadows and try to help everyone else. To all my friends that I've made, to all the friends I will make, I wish you all good night. Thank you for your friendship. And I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Good night.